What if art wasn't something you looked at, but something you travelled through? What if a painting could take you on a journey just as vividly as a plane ticket? Welcome to the Artful Exchange, the podcast where we explore the power of art to connect and tell stories across cultures. Today, we are taking a journey quite literally through the world of art. My guest is Alisa, the founder of the Art Trotter. The Art Trotter is a platform dedicated to making art educational, accessible, and engaging for everyone. Through online programs, community discussions, and collaborations with institutions like Cinemateket in Oslo, Norway, Alisa is changing the way we experience and interact with art. But the Art Trotter is more than just an educational space. It's a movement that invites us to move and travel through art, to see it as a living, breathing conversation between the past and the present. In this episode, I will dive into Alisa's journey, the inspiration behind the Art Trotter, and how she's redefining what it means to learn and how to collect art in today's society. So whether you're an artist, a collector, or simply someone who's been moved by a painting, sculpture, or even a film, this conversation is for you. Alisa, I have been a follower of the Art Trotter since you started up, I believe. And I am very curious to know what led you to starting this platform.
So I started the Art Trotter many years ago. It started as a blog on Instagram back in 2013, if not 12, something like that. That's when the Art Trotter appeared and the idea was born. And then the format of digital art club and educational focus started around 2018. And ever since, I have been doing that, inspiring myself and others to discover and learn about the world of art. And what inspired me was just that I wanted to create a space that I wished myself existed early in life, something that could feel alive, could feel personal, a welcoming place where all questions would be welcome about art. And because sometimes art world can be experienced, can feel like a locked room, and I wanted to open the door instead.
I think, it can feel very intimidating for many people. And what you've achieved is opening it to everyone. And as I told you, I have been a follower, and I think I've been one of the first that took your online course as well, back in 2018, 2019 or something. I really enjoyed it.
Amazing. That's amazing to hear. Thank you so much.
Was there a defining moment that led to you going from the idea to actually making the Art Trotter a reality?
Defining moment. I think I've had many art experiences in my life. I must say I usually took it for granted because art has been with me since my childhood. However, I do remember that one exhibition in London where I came to see, I think it was Saatchi Gallery in London. And I went there to see a conceptual exhibition. There was conceptual art, things, installations hanging on the walls and from the ceiling, and very conceptual. And I saw that many people would just pass by, like walk by, and not stopping. And then it was the moment where I realized that Actually, most people aren't indifferent to art, uh, but I just think that they don't know how to engage with it, and that needed to change. And that's where I created the Art Trotter to really help the public, help just people at large to learn to find to speak the language of art and to find ways to discover ways of engaging with it and making sense of it.
Bringing the whole artwork basically to people's home is what you've done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, because
yeah,
we do it all on digital platforms.
yeah,
And the whole point of it is to make art as accessible as possible, and using digital platforms. Doing it online is one of the most straightforward ways of discovering art, bringing it
absolutely.
closer.
In
Yeah,
today's world, very necessary. And not everyone gets the chance to travel. So what you've done is a truly amazing concept. Yeah.
thank you so much.
What's your relationship with art in general? Like, how has it shaped your sense of identity and belonging in this world?
Art has definitely impacted my life a lot. Sorry. I think it taught me uh, to look at paintings, but also people and the world, and to look inside myself. And it's also shaped how I listen, listen to myself, to people around me, to how I take in what's going on around the world, all the news, the crazy news that we hear all the time. Art has taught me to see things in perspective, to be more compassionate, to be more, yeah, just having love every in whatever you do. I think that's the major impact of art on me personally.
Yeah, just to be more present, basically. Yeah.
Exactly.
You mentioned something I thought was so beautiful before we started the podcast. I don't know if you recall it, but you said that as a little girl growing up, you read this book that inspired you immensely. Do you think you remember what you told me? It was such a
Yeah,
beautiful
right.
thing.
Yeah, so when I was a little girl, I remember having an encyclopedia, a children's encyclopedia about ancient Greece. It was full of pictures, and pictures of how they lived, and obviously all the arts has remained after them, after that civilization. And I remember reading it and looking at the pictures, studying the pictures and the small comments every time, every night before I would go to sleep, basically in my bed already. And not knowing that, but that book really sparked huge interest and curiosity in me, interest for art and the stories that hide behind every art piece. And I think that's what makes me do what I do today, is bringing the stories of art, telling about art through storytelling, and showing how everything is related in the world, how we are connected to the history, and how the past is reflected in the present.
That's exactly how I would describe you. You are the perfect person to bridge the past with the present today with people through art. Yeah. If you wanted to describe a piece of art that changed you in 3 words, how would you describe that? Before you describe it, I would also like to say to our listeners that please do send us your information as well, how art might have changed you or is changing you. But yeah, please, Alisa, go ahead.
Right. So obviously, I've seen a lot of artworks that are really powerful in their own way. And art can tell us so much more about something else, right? So art is just, for me, it's just a tool, a means of discovering something bigger behind. And when I think about when I have to choose one piece, I think I would go for an artist, because I have an artist who I like a lot, and it's Marc Chagall. And pretty much in all his works, so that's why it's so difficult to pick up only one. In all his body of work, he reflects on very core things. He reflects on his own life story, and how events in the world, like revolutions, wars, personal tragedies, and not being able to return to his home country, having to flee from one country to another, and having to adopt in a foreign place and starting his life from scratch. All these things, obviously losing lots of relatives and family in war somewhere else. All these things are reflected in his artwork. And one of the pieces, if I'm to pick one, I would pick one of his very, very first paintings when he was still very young and hopeful and not knowing what life had for him. He was in his 20s, and he went to Paris to study, and he painted this famous painting of him and his fiancée Bella, where they were flying over Paris, and you see Eiffel Tower in the background, and different objects also flying, floating in the air. And for me, that really sums up that in 3 words I would describe it as love, compassion, and mercy. I think that's are the things that helped him to go through life, his very difficult life.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautifully put. If you could take our listeners on an art journey today, anywhere in the world, where would you take us?
Where I would take you? I think if I only could take you on one trip, that would be in a place in Europe, good old Europe, in a very, very romantic place. You might already guess what I'm talking about. It's one of the most romantic places on earth, I think.
Verona. Yeah.
No, it's
No, Verona. Sorry, Venice. I mean, I don't know why I said Verona.
Right.
I think
Verona. Yeah, Verona is the place of Shakespeare, right?
Yes, exactly.
Juliet. But
Yeah.
Venice is the ultimate definition of romance, I think.
Yeah.
And what you can read in most romantic poems and romances. And for me, Venice is actually not just beautiful, it's also a place that combines so much of art and history in one place, that you can just come there and you pretty much go through almost the entire history of our modern civilization. Like, it starts with the Byzantine Empire, and with this major cathedral, San Marco Cathedral, in the center of Venice, that was built in the Byzantine, partially in the Byzantine tradition. And then it goes all the way through Middle Ages and Renaissance and Neoclassicism, and it comes all the way to contemporary art, thanks to Venice Biennale. So coming there, you get to see such a huge spectrum of art and art history that you can probably not find a place on earth that would match that. So I would take you to Venice, and all you would need is just some time to not just look at art and go to museums, but also just enjoy the spirit of Venice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. And I believe that you have taken some of your followers and students to the Biennale in Venice as well before?
It is true, yes. So I sometimes, not very often, but sometimes I do. We go on art trips together, and we discover art together. And Venice is one of the destinations that I love, and we usually go during the time of the Biennale, so that we get to see most of what Venice has to offer.
And I suppose that this will be ongoing as well. So listeners today have the opportunity to follow the Art Trotter and maybe come with you on art journeys.
Absolutely, you're most welcome. We usually have lots of fun. And what I love about the stores is that it's not only about art, but it's also about the people you meet, your fellow travelers. And usually the participants, they become friends and they explore art together afterwards. So it's a beautiful crowd and a great social setting to discover art and meet like-minded people.
I'm sure. When you've taken people on these journeys or you're talking about art in general, what do you see are people's biggest fears when it comes to art or talking about art?
Having had several thousand people learning about art on my platform or discovering art in one form or another, what I've learned, because I ask them, they come to me and I ask them, and what I've seen the most is that they are afraid to get it wrong, to appear foolish, to ask stupid questions, according to them, to say something that's maybe wrong, and I think that's and then not to be able to, of course, to get it at all.
A lot of people feel this way, but I do feel that it's maybe changing. I don't know if you agree with me that many museums today are actually starting to put out questions for visitors so they can reflect and think about art and not be scared about asking questions. I don't know. Do you see this as well?
I think in a way, yes. I think museums invite or are more open in their programming and in their mediation strategies. Definitely. At least, I don't know how it is to ask questions, but at least to present the information to make art more accessible. I think definitely they are doing a good job.
Yeah. But then also that's where you come into the picture as well, because you can help people with this journey, going through looking at art from past to present in the various museums, helping them explain that the questions they're asking are not necessarily silly. You can ask any questions in the world of art. That's how we learn. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, I think that's what we do in the Art Trotters community, in our club, digital club, where you, as a member, you can ask any questions and, also not just ask, but also share opinion, just share what you think about some artwork or an exhibition. And as you speak, as you express your thoughts, you learn and you discover more, you reflect more. So that's ultimately what I engage in our community, is to not only look and listen and explore, but also participate and take an active role.
True. How do you think art can enhance the quality of our life?
Right. So I usually say that art enriches our life, and I really mean it. I've seen it with myself, and I've seen it with so many of our members, because art is just, in many ways, it's just a means. It's a portal that takes us to something bigger. So art helps us to learn new things about history, about our society. Uh, it helps us to discover things, anything from history to literature to music to even biology and mathematics. Like, we can learn so many things by looking at a work of art and discovering the story behind it. And also, art brings us all together. Like, it's a social tool. For example, whenever you feel alone at home or you travel alone, that's what I used to do back in the days. I would go and see art, and I would meet people, and I would talk to them, and I would even make new friends. And say that you already have a group of friends or you're at home, then art can bring you closer together. Like, go discover an exhibition with your children or grandchildren or your partner, and then suddenly you have created a new bond, a new topic to talk about, to learn together, and a beautiful, beautiful memory as well.
It's true. It's very open. And as you said, when you're new somewhere, you don't know many people, it's the perfect place to meet, connect, and discuss about life.
Definitely.
Yeah. I know that you have been working very closely with Cinemateket in Oslo in Norway, which I suppose we can call as the Norwegian Film Institute, correctly? Or
that's correct.
Cinemateket? Yeah.
Cinemateket is part of Norwegian Film Institute.
Right. I would love to learn more about what exactly that collaboration has been about.
So,
yeah.
Sorry?
No, sorry. Go on. Yeah.
Thank you for asking. It's a beautiful project. It's like my baby project, my heart project. It's a non-profit initiative that we started talking about probably already 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And eventually it came, we could bring it to life almost 3 years ago now. And so Cinemateket, so let me put it this way: in my community, in my courses, I've always used movies as part of the learning process. I wouldn't show them, but I would always recommend a movie that's about an artist or a period of art history, because these movies are great. They really present, they put picture, people, faces on something that happened, even though it's fiction. But many of these movies are still based on real facts, and it's a great way to learn about art, an additional way of learning and discovering. And that's what we decided to do with Cinemateket, to basically bring arts and give the public an opportunity to discover and learn about art in a more untraditional way, which is through on the big screen, through movies. And today we curate and choose a new movie every month, which we screen. And it can be a documentary, it can be fiction, a drama, a romantic movie, or something else that really reflects, covers an important artist or part of the art history or even art market.
Lovely idea. And where can we learn about when this is ongoing?
So, since it's an ongoing project and with new movies every month, all you need to do is to go on cinemateket.no, I think. Just search for Cinemateket in Oslo and look at the program. And the project is called Kunst på film in Norwegian, which is translated as art on screen. And just see what they have. There is always a movie every month.
Perfect. Sounds great. Can't wait to come visit Oslo again.
Welcome.
Thank you. In this world of where art collection is something more and more people are starting to grasp the meaning behind, Why do you think many people are still afraid of that specific word, art collector?
I think art collector sounds exclusive to many people, and ultimately, collecting is all about care and passion and supporting young artists. So I think many people mistakenly think that to collect art has to cost a lot of money, but uh, in fact, if you collect with heart and passion, it doesn't have to cost much at all. And I always like to give an example of a very famous collector couple, Herbert and Dorothy Vogel from New York. They are actually known to be the proletarian art collectors, meaning that he was Herbert worked as a postman, delivering post every morning, and Dorothy worked as a librarian in Brooklyn, and their passion was art. For their first for their wedding, they bought their first artwork, a small artwork by then unknown artist, and then they were just part of the art community in New York, which gave them access to a lot of famous artists. And sometimes they would get things for free as a gift, or they would buy it for almost nothing to support the artist. And some of the artworks they got for free as a thank you for, I don't remember the name of the artist, but they were looking after somebody's cat,
Oh,
and that artist just thanked them with the artworks. And today they have one of the greatest collections of especially minimalism and conceptual art in the world. They have thousands of items in their collection. So that's a great example. And they never got rich. They lived in this tiny apartment in New York. So, if you have the passion and the interest, anything is possible.
exactly. Just, start with what you like. That's
Yeah.
what it's about, really, isn't it?
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart, yeah. And you also actually help people. You help collectors make a collection. How do you go about helping them with confidence to find their unique style and their collection?
So I just want to breach from your previous question about, like you said, like something like start with something that you like and then you follow that. And I just thought that, okay, maybe you like Van Gogh, it's unaffordable for 99% of people on earth, basically. But what I do in our art community, and also with the collectors who have different budgets, different opportunities, I introduce them. We start with defining what they like, defining their taste, and then if they like something like Van Gogh or Matisse, but they can't afford it, they can find alternatives. So I show them alternatives, so similar aesthetics, yet something still artistically significant and unique, and not being just a replica, if you know what I mean. Something that is valuable, is unique in its own way, but still reflects the aesthetics of an artist who lived 100 years ago and who has become immensely popular and acknowledged. And then, of course, working with collectors who come to me and say, Alisa, I want to build a collection, or I want to find this specific piece, something very good for my collection, something that my generations can enjoy, and something that maybe even can grow in value. I usually start guiding them by helping them define what they like, and giving them the tools and the knowledge that they need to make their own empowered decisions when it comes to collecting and purchasing art, and ultimately collect art confidently. So that's basically a long process, or a lengthy process. It doesn't happen overnight. but it's a journey which I want us to enjoy and to appreciate, because it's a very powerful and enriching journey until you come to a point where you say, okay, I know what I like, I know what I want, and I'm very confident in going for these art pieces.
Perfect ending to our wonderful and interesting interview. Thank you so much, Alisa, for your patience today and for participating. I am truly honored to have you on my podcast.
So, yes, thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure to meet you in person, especially knowing that you were one of my first students and that you have learned about art with me, which is a great honor. So thank you so much for inviting me, for having me here today. And as a thank you to you and also to your listeners on this amazing podcast, I have prepared a special digital gift for all of you who are listening to us now. It's called the Art Lovers Starter Pack, and I'm happy to share it with you. It's a free gift. It's something you can just download for free and to start your art journey and discover and learn something new and exciting together with me. So go and download this. I think I will send you the link so that you can share it with.
Thank you so much, Alisa. I know that our listeners will love that, and not least myself. Thank you. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to the Artful Exchange. If you wish to learn more about Alisa and the Art Trotter, there will be in our description post under this specific podcast all the social media links and how to get in touch with her and the Art Trotter. Remember to follow the Artful Exchange. We give you new episodes monthly, and until then, stay creative and inspired.